So today's topic is web server. Web server is a specialized software that responds to client, that is web browser request. For every website requires a web server to proceed client request and survey of the page. Web server used to service internet and extranet. System architecture. A web server is a part of multi-tier application, also called n-tier application. Nationality Functionality is divided into separate tiers or groups. Tier can on Tier can be on same computer or on a separate computer. Web application are often three-tiered: information tier, also called data tier, medical tier, and client tier, user interface tier. Common web system architecture. Client tier, application user interface. The client interact with the middle tier to make requests and to retrieve data from the information tier. Second is middle tier. Control the interaction between the application client and application data, enforces business rule, implement presentation logic, and web server typically support this tier. Information tier. Maintain data for the application. Data typically stored in a relational database management system. Next is hypertext transform data. Request. Example, get me your page, web page. Post this data to the server. Example, here is the web page. The basic function of a web server is to act as HTTP server. The web server communicates with client using a response request protocol, HTTP. Client server model and HTTP. A request is generated by a client by a browser software. The most common requests are get and post. The request get reaches the appropriate web server. The request is pursued by the web server. A request is formulated by the web server and is sent back to the client. HTTP is a de facto standard for transferring World Wide Web document, usually to port 80. HTTP message between client and server are human readable. Request means get resource, type of browser, name of host, and etc. First line is a request line. Contain the nature of request. Example, get means get a file from the server. Post means post data to the server. Put means store some resources. Example is HTTP request from client, body, form method, post, action, and process JSP. World to look, input type, text name world, input type equals to submit, form and body closed. HTML code for a form. Indicate a post request data in the form is posted to the server. The get indicates a request, not use the send of forms. Send any parameter in a query. Response from the web server is this. HTTP response status codes. 1XX provide data to the client. 2XX correct response has occurred. 3XX browser must carry out some further action in order for a request to be successful. For example, the code 301 indicates the resource that has been requested has been permanently moved to the other location. 4XX something's had gone up. For example, the most frequent status code that is returned to is 404, which indicate the resource that has been requested cannot be found. 5XX server has experienced a problem. For example, the status code of 503 indicates that server request has not been able to be carried out. Accessibility web server. Must known host name on which the web server resides. Remote web server access using protocol domain name or OP or IP address. The local web server access using machine name or a local host. Web server functionality. HTTP server, but usually include many other functions such as file transfer protocol, mail transfer protocol server, web development and publishing functionality, support for specific server side technologies, security feature, and any more. So this is all about web server.